You just recorded drums, you recorded your vocals, stacks of vocals. You want everything to be perfectly aligned, in sync, and down to the sample accuracy of phase, because you know that transients are life. And that's how you make a great modern record. You keep those transients in line, punchy, that mid-range there. But how do you do it? How do you make this happen without spending hours and hours and hours finagling and moving things over sample by sample? Well, I got just a tool for you. Check it out in this week's mix tip. Let's get into it. First off, I got this track by Rose Above that I've been producing, and got the great Jeff Friedl on the drums. Awesome friend of mine and also a legendary drummer. Love him. He's awesome and he's a lefty. So, drum perspective, audience perspective, it's confusing as hell. But I want to show you a little snippet of the song, and then I'll show you exactly how to use the tool that I'm about to show you.
She takes a tolerance. She's getting off on your pursuit. She'll bring an audience just to make the fool of you. Isn't it obvious? She's gonna take your heart and run. It makes me nauseous.
All right, everything's sounding really great, but there's something weird about the kick and the toms that I'm just not liking. So let's solo out the kick and the toms, and let's listen to the floor tom and the kick drum together and find out what's going on here. It feels comb filtered. It feels flangey. Okay, so you might be noticing the floor tom is rolling the whole time, and the kick drum is hitting on the ands, like the one and, right? So what we want to do is make sure that that kick and that tom are tight and making impact. The transients are very lively. Now you can do this manually. You can go in here and you could say, hey, let's check it out. Let's get a very, very in-depth view of this and check out the transient. So you have a weird flam on the floor tom hitting before the kick drum. So you can actually take this and move it over, kind of scoot it, and then use your ears and try to find a zero crossing point and all that good stuff. And you could go through the whole session and do that. Or you could use this one plugin that just got an update, and it's called Auto Align Post, and it's by Radix, and it's one of my favorites for this exact specific job. So I'm going to show you how to use that. So if you want to align these tracks together, let's say we want the tom drum to be aligned to the kick drum. What we want to do is we want to select the tom 2. We'll go up to Audio Suite. We'll go to Radix, and we'll pick Auto Align Post. Now, the updated version of Auto Align Post, I'm not about to do a plugin of the week with you here, but there's a couple really cool things about it. I'm going to show you just how to use it and how I would use it for drums and stationary mics, okay? So what we're going to do in the actual key input, we want to pick the kicks blended, because that's what we're trying to align to, and that's going to be the key input. It's already selected. Now, we can actually switch between time of dynamic, static, or off. Dynamic, what dynamic means is it's going to be for, like, if you're moving a mic and things are changing. The mic, you have two mics and one mic is moving and changing, right? Like in an on-set location sound sort of thing. Static is when you got overhead drum mics and snare drum mics and kick drum mics where they're staying, so the phase isn't changing between them. They're not moving around, okay? So I'm going to pick static, obviously, because we have a mic'd up drum kit. And then this phase, there's a really cool new feature in Auto Align Post 2 called Spectral. And what that does is it applies all pass filters to best match the phase in all frequencies. Because sometimes when you have filters and you have filtering going on with location sound, you get weird like comb filtering stuff happening. What this will do is it'll actually apply filters to make sure that you're not losing any low end when that stuff shifts. The polarity is just going to flip the polarity if needed, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to leave it on Spectral. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my clip is selected on the floor tom and that the key input is the track that I'm trying to align to, which is this kicks. So let's select the tom again, and let's hit this preview button, or this visualize button is what they call it. All right, so now we got some information here with this visualize button, and I want to explain this to you. You can see that in the pink, it's the aligned, and then you can see here, we also have a time domain. It's showing us the time differences, like the phase of where it is. This is saying that there's a delay offset of 66 samples between the two samples being perfectly aligned in phase. which incredible. Thank you, Sound Radix. I don't have to go and do that and figure that out and maybe be at 63 samples and not perfectly aligned. This is a great piece of technology, right? So use it. It's also not very cheap, but and you get one license per user. So it is a professional tool. So if you're wondering, is this for me? Well, are you making a living doing post sound, mixing and mastering, drum editing? Is that how you're making your living? Then yes, go buy this. If not, then do it manually. Just believe me. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg to keep finding all these plugins to work with. Now, if you're liking this so far, you're getting a lot of information out of this, you've learned anything so far, please like this video right now. Just take a second, go, what? Hit the click, the boom, the thumb, the bing, bing, bing. You know, give us some love here. Drop a comment or a question. I'm always here to help out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe right now. I'm going to keep bringing you guys game every single week. All right, I'm committed. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so this is aligned. You're going to say view, source. So the source is going to be in blue. Okay, so you can really actually zoom pretty far in and you can zoom out. I'm using the scroll wheel and shift. That's a pretty universal thing. You can also use this bar up here and you can see the timing, like you can scoot this, right? Let me see here. Scoot this way. I'm using the scroll wheel, just left and right. And you can see the differences. I'm going to zoom way in here and you can see how the phase is aligning. So you can see the aligned is in the pink and the source is in the magenta. I don't know what that is. Sky blue. I have bad sight when it comes to color. Sorry, guys. All right. So now we have a visualize thing. What do we do now? Just render it, okay? So I want to play this before and I want to play this after real quick for you so you can hear this. So this is before alignment. I'm going to play it. Okay, now let's render it after. Right? Punchy, fat, tight. Transients are back to life. Mid-range is back to life. You got the low end coming back in. Everything's aligned perfectly. Now, I'm going to bypass this in and out. I'm going to undo this, and I'm just going to give you a really quick before, after, A, B, so you can really hear it. There you go. Now, if you wanted to stack up your drums, you wanted to make more modern textures, use samples on your drums, you could do the same thing. You could literally cut in the samples on top of the tom hits, the kick hits, and you could use auto align post to auto align exactly those phase shifts and make them perfectly aligned for phase accuracy, is sample accurate phase. That's it. This plugin is amazing. If you want to pick it up, I'll drop a link right here in the description. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I'm just showing you guys some tools that I really love and like and use. I use these all the time, right? And look out for the record by Rose Above, Jeff Friedl on the drums, and this will be out soon. It's called Heatwave. Hopefully this mix tip is gonna get you making bigger, better records in 2022. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to sub, like, comment, do all the cool stuff. Appreciate you guys. Peace.